Have you ever said something and immediately wished you could take it back? Words can feel like arrows once released, impossible to retrieve. But what if you could harness your speech so every word reflects wisdom, composure, and strength? Welcome to Stoic Lens, where today we're exploring 6 things an intelligent person never says, all rooted in the enduring wisdom of Stoicism. The Stoics believed that our words are more than mere sounds. They're mirrors of our intellect, character, and values. From avoiding empty boast to understanding the quiet power of silence, this philosophy teaches us that how we speak shapes who we are, not just to others, but to ourselves. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to elevate your communication, whether at work, in relationships, or even in your inner dialogue. Imagine being able to handle every conversation with clarity and confidence, leaving others inspired by your measured and meaningful words. So, if you're ready to unlock the true power of speech and take control of your words, stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Lens and hit the notification bell for more insights that will help you master the art of living wisely. Let's begin this journey of discovery together, because your words don't just speak for you, they define you. Number 1. Avoid boasting about knowledge. Have you ever encountered someone who constantly talks about their expertise, achievements, or all the books they've read? At first you might find them impressive, but over time their endless self-promotion creates a sense of distance. It's not that their knowledge lacks value, it's the way they present it. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true wisdom doesn't seek to boast or overshadow others. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, "Nature does not boast about what it creates, and neither should we take credit for our wisdom." This isn't just a lesson, it's a way of living. Take, for example, a friend of mine, John. He was a brilliant tech expert who, in meetings or casual gatherings, often positioned himself as the smartest person in the room. He would recount his accomplishments, describe complex technologies, and bring up the awards he had won. At first, people admired him, but as time went on, his habit of turning every conversation into a personal showcase began to alienate others. One day, a colleague gave John some honest feedback. While his expertise was undeniable, his delivery made people feel undervalued. It was a wake-up call. John realized that his need to impress had become counterproductive. Instead of inspiring admiration, his approach created a barrier, making others feel diminished. This is a trap many of us fall into. When we share our knowledge or achievements, it's worth asking ourselves, why am I saying this? If the intent is to contribute to a discussion or help others, it can be meaningful. But if it's to seek admiration or validation, it's time to reflect. Boasting doesn't just diminish the impact of your words, it also damages your connections with others. Instead of fostering inspiration, it risks making people feel judged or compared to your accomplishments. Stoicism offers clear guidance to avoid this. First, let your actions speak louder than your words. When you truly embody knowledge and skill, it will naturally shine through your work and the way you solve problems. Others will notice without you needing to announce it. Second, practice humility. Humility isn't about hiding your abilities, it's about allowing others to discover your value organically. Genuine humility makes space for others to feel appreciated and respected in your presence. Finally, embrace the power of listening. Listening isn't just a way to learn from others, it's a demonstration of respect. The Stoics revered silence as a form of wisdom. Choosing not to speak unnecessarily is a sign of self-assurance and understanding, not a lack of knowledge. John gradually adopted these principles. He started sharing less about his own achievements and became more attentive to the ideas and experiences of those around him. Instead of dominating conversations, he contributed thoughtfully and let others shine. Over time, people began seeking him out, not only for his expertise, but for the sincerity and respect he brought to every interaction. John's transformation proved a powerful point. Knowledge is not meant to elevate the individual alone, but to enrich the community. The way we share it matters. Avoiding the need to boast doesn't mean you must suppress your achievements or insights. Rather, it's about sharing them in a way that uplifts others and creates connection. The Stoics teach us that our words are reflections of our inner selves. When we choose humility over arrogance, we not only strengthen our character, but also build trust and respect in the hearts of those we interact with. So, what do your words say about you? Answering this question honestly can guide you toward a path of wisdom and personal growth. Number 2, never dismiss others' opinions. Have you ever shared an idea only to have it brushed off without a second thought? It stings, a sudden wave of feeling disregarded, as though your effort and perspective carry no weight. Worse still, it can leave you questioning your own worth. Was my idea really that unimportant? I've been on both sides of this experience. Early in my leadership journey, I unknowingly became the person who dismissed others. In one meeting, a colleague proposed an idea to improve our workflow. Without much thought, I interrupted, labeling the suggestion as impractical. I believed I was saving time and steering the team toward efficiency. But in doing so, I failed to notice the shift in the room. The awkward silence, the hesitant glances, and the lack of enthusiasm that followed. Later, a trusted colleague pulled me aside and gently said, "You might want to listen a little longer next time." That idea wasn't as bad as it sounded. Those words struck me deeply. I realized I hadn't just dismissed a single idea. I'd inadvertently discouraged others from sharing theirs, creating a stifling environment where creativity and trust could not thrive. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom comes from openness, not arrogance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You cannot learn what you think you already know." When we dismiss others' opinions without listening, we close ourselves off to potential growth. We lose not only the opportunity to hear valuable ideas, but also the chance to strengthen our relationships and build trust. After that wake-up call, I began to change how I approached conversations. I reminded myself that listening doesn't mean agreeing, it means showing respect and staying curious. When someone shared an idea, instead of rushing to counter it, I paused to ask myself, what can I learn from this? Even ideas that seemed flawed often contained kernels of insight I hadn't considered. And when the idea itself wasn't viable, I still gained a better understanding of the other person's perspective, which often revealed new dimensions of the problem. Stoicism emphasizes humility, reminding us that we are not the center of the universe. To dismiss another's opinion is to place our own viewpoint on a pedestal, as if we alone hold the ultimate truth. But no single person can have all the answers. Wisdom, the Stoics remind us, is born from collaboration and the exchange of ideas. As I embraced this perspective, I noticed a transformation in my team. I began asking more questions, encouraging quieter members to share their thoughts, and making space for a diversity of perspectives. Over time, meetings became more dynamic. Instead of me dictating solutions, we uncovered breakthrough ideas together. Solutions I would never have discovered on my own. This shift didn't just enhance our results, it reshaped the atmosphere. My team members felt respected and valued, and trust within the group deepened. I realized that by dismissing others in the past, I had been shutting myself off from their unique wisdom. Every person carries insights shaped by their own experiences, and ignoring them had been a disservice, not just to them, but to myself and the team as a whole. Adopting an open-minded approach doesn't mean you have to agree with every idea, nor does it mean you can't critique or refine them. It means acknowledging that everyone brings something valuable to the table. Even if an idea seems unworkable, the act of listening shows respect and creates a culture where people feel safe to speak up. This openness also sharpens your own perspective. Listening allows you to uncover blind spots, challenge assumptions, and refine your understanding. Even if you ultimately choose a different path, you'll be making a more informed decision, grounded in a broader view of the situation. In the end, refusing to dismiss others' opinions is more than an act of kindness. It's a strategy for growth. Respecting others' perspectives invites new ideas, builds trust, and fosters a collaborative environment where innovation thrives. As the Stoics teach, wisdom isn't about proving that you're right. It's about understanding that truth is multifaceted and that each person carries a unique piece of it. Number 3, refrain from complaining without purpose. Picture someone like Peter, a seasoned professional balancing work deadlines, family responsibilities, and life's unexpected challenges. Despite his experience, Peter had developed a habit of constant complaining. From criticizing his co-workers' inefficiency to venting about the office coffee machine, his grievances were endless. At first, his colleagues sympathized and offered solutions. But as time passed, Peter's negativity began to drain those around him. Conversations with him became exhausting, and people started avoiding him, not out of apathy, but because his relentless complaints were simply too much to bear. During a lunch break, a friend finally asked, "Peter, I understand your frustration, but what are you doing to fix these problems?" That question hit him hard. Peter realized he wasn't looking for solutions. He was venting without purpose. Worse, his negativity was not only alienating others, but also reinforcing his own sense of helplessness. This scenario is familiar to many of us. It's easy to fall into the trap of venting about life's frustrations, but Stoicism offers a powerful remedy. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Complaining about things beyond your control only amplifies feelings of powerlessness. However, complaints with purpose can lead to growth and solutions. The key is intent. Complaints that aimlessly highlight problems drain energy, while those rooted in problem-solving can be transformative. Whenever frustration arises, ask yourself, what can I do about this? If the answer is nothing, let it go. Redirect your energy towards something productive. Read, reflect, or focus on gratitude. Instead of lamenting circumstances, reframe your mindset. Ask, what can I learn from this? Every challenge holds a lesson, but complaints blind us to opportunities for growth. Peter took this advice to heart. Instead of grumbling about his manager, he focused on crafting thoughtful solutions for workplace challenges. During his commute, he swapped complaints for audiobooks and mindfulness. As he shifted his focus, so did others' perceptions of him. His words carried more weight, and his relationships improved. By refraining from purposeless complaints, you reclaim your energy and influence. When you focus on constructive action, you align with Stoic principles, building a life of resilience and meaningful connection. Number 4. No empty promises. Promises hold a profound weight in our lives. They create expectations, build trust, and form the foundation of relationships. Yet, how often do we make promises without fully considering whether we can follow through? While often unintentional, this habit carries a cost. It diminishes credibility and weakens the trust we work so hard to build. Stoicism emphasizes the alignment of words and actions, reminding us that integrity isn't about saying much, but about delivering on what we commit to. Consider Greg, a dedicated professional juggling work and family responsibilities. Greg's intentions were good, but he often overcommitted, promising to review reports by Monday or to be home in time for dinner. More often than not, he failed to keep these promises. Initially, his colleagues and family excused his lapses as the result of a hectic schedule. But as broken promises became a pattern, patience wore thin. One evening, after missing another family dinner, Greg found a note on his desk from his teenage daughter. "We just want you to mean it when you say it." That simple message was a wake-up call. Greg realized that despite his good intentions, his words were losing their value, eroding the trust and respect he had built over years. This story underscores a vital Stoic principle: speak with purpose and act with integrity. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let your words be plain and true." Promises are not just words, they are commitments tied to our character. Breaking them, even unintentionally, undermines our reliability. To avoid making hollow promises, pause before committing. Ask yourself, do I have the time and resources to fulfill this promise? If the answer is uncertain, it's better to set realistic expectations than to overpromise and risk disappointment. For example, instead of guaranteeing, "I'll have this done tomorrow," say, "I'll aim for tomorrow, but I'll let you know if I need more time." Additionally, practice under-promising and over-delivering. Setting achievable goals and occasionally exceeding them builds a reputation for dependability. Finally, embrace accountability. If you can't keep a promise, address it directly with sincerity and a solution. By adopting these practices, Greg transformed his approach. Over time, he regained trust and discovered the peace that comes from knowing his words carried meaning, and his actions reinforced them. Stoic wisdom teaches us that true strength lies in keeping promises, not in making them lightly. Number 5. Don't deny your mistakes. Have you ever felt that admitting a mistake makes you vulnerable, as if it invites judgment? I used to believe that too, until a pivotal experience changed my perspective. Stoicism taught me that acknowledging mistakes doesn't weaken us. It elevates our integrity and builds trust. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone." Years ago, while leading a high-pressure project at work, I rushed to meet a deadline and overlooked critical details in a report. When the errors were uncovered, upper management criticized the outcome. My instinct was to deflect blame, pointing to the tight schedule and overwhelming workload. But deep down, I knew shifting responsibility would only damage the trust I'd built with my team. Instead, I chose to face the situation directly. In our next meeting, I admitted my mistake, apologized sincerely, and outlined steps to prevent it from happening again. To my surprise, the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. My team appreciated the honesty, and some even thanked me for demonstrating accountability. Admitting my fault hadn't diminished me. It strengthened the trust others placed in me. Why is owning mistakes so impactful? Because it shows a commitment to truth over ego. By taking responsibility, you prove that growth and integrity matter more than preserving a perfect image. This openness also encourages others to admit their errors, creating a culture of trust and collaboration. Mistakes are inevitable, but denying them only undermines credibility. Facing them with courage, learning from them, and taking corrective action transforms missteps into opportunities for growth. The Stoics remind us that it's not the mistake itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. By embracing this philosophy, we not only grow stronger, but inspire others to do the same. Number 6. Don't overshare. Future plans. Stoic philosophy teaches us that promises are far more than simple words. They are commitments that shape trust and reflect our integrity. Empty promises, even when made with good intentions, can erode your credibility and weaken relationships over time. Take Jim as an example. Known for his warmth and eagerness to help, Jim often found himself saying yes to nearly every request. Whether it was assisting a friend, taking on extra work, or attending community events, his answer was almost always, "Sure, count me in." Initially, his willingness was appreciated, but as his commitments piled up, Jim began to miss deadlines, forget promises, and fail to show up. One instance stood out. A close friend invited him to a meaningful family dinner. Jim enthusiastically agreed, but amidst his chaotic schedule, he forgot and double-booked himself with a work meeting. The next day, his friend expressed the family's disappointment, which left Jim reflecting on the consequences of his words. That moment became a turning point. Jim realized that despite his good intentions, his careless promises were damaging the relationships he valued most. What seemed like small lapses were actually undermining trust and creating frustration. The Stoics warn us against this tendency to overcommit, driven by a desire to avoid awkwardness or to appear agreeable. Marcus Aurelius's advice rings true. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Every promise should be made with authenticity and care. Saying yes too quickly might ease immediate discomfort, but failing to follow through causes deeper harm. People respect honesty and clarity far more than vague commitments that lead to disappointment. To avoid falling into this trap, start by pausing before committing to anything. Ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Can I realistically fulfill this promise? If the answer is uncertain, it's better to offer a sincere no than to risk over-promising. For instance, instead of saying, "I'll definitely be there," try, "I'd love to, but I can't commit right now." This not only sets realistic expectations, but also maintains trust. Additionally, prioritize quality over quantity. Commit to fewer things and give them your full attention, ensuring that you follow through with excellence. This approach strengthens your reputation as someone dependable and trustworthy. Finally, remember that saying no isn't selfish. It's a reflection of self-awareness. By focusing on what's within your control, you protect your energy and ensure you can deliver on the commitments that truly matter. Jim embraced these lessons and began to approach his commitments more thoughtfully. He learned to say no when necessary and focused on delivering what he promised. Over time, his relationships improved, and people respected him not for agreeing to everything, but for consistently honoring the promises he did make. This shift not only repaired Jim's reputation, but also brought him a sense of peace. His words carried weight, and his actions reflected intention, hallmarks of the Stoic principle that it's better to promise less and deliver more than to overpromise and deliver little. In the end, avoiding empty promises is about more than keeping your word. It's about living in harmony with your values and building relationships grounded in trust and authenticity. The Stoics teach us that our words are not just fleeting sounds. They shape how others perceive us and how we perceive ourselves. Every promise is an opportunity to show integrity, strengthen connections, and reflect the principles we hold dear. So, the next time you're faced with a decision to commit, pause. Take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, can I honor this fully? Does this align with who I strive to be? When your words and actions align, you don't just fulfill promises, you cultivate a life of purpose and respect. That's not just wisdom, it's a quiet, unshakable strength. At Stoic Lens, we're here to explore how ancient wisdom can guide modern living. If today's session resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to grow in wisdom. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your triumphs, your challenges, or simply your reflections on this journey. Leave a comment below, and let's continue building a community rooted in resilience, clarity, and the pursuit of a meaningful life. If you're not sure what to write, just type "I love this" to let us know you've completed this session. Be sure to check out the recommended videos here to keep learning and discovering how Stoicism can transform your daily life. Thank you for being part of this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.